The sneak peek leaks for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 22 have just been released, and it's that time of the month again. We are going into the spoiler season for the upcoming chapter, and in today's video we'll be just discussing the sneak peek leak that came out concerning what's going to happen next chapter. And as you can see right here, we have a Jura who ends up popping up in the battlefield, and this is the one not with Boruto Konohamaru and the bits and pieces of Matsuri, but this is the battlefield where Sarada, Mitiki, a Yara, and a dying Yado are located at, and we see that Jura has managed to make his appearance by teleporting using the claw marks. So one thing that a lot of people have been saying is, why exactly does Jura make it here and he doesn't go to the battlefield where Matsuri's at? And the simple answer is that he doesn't have a means to connect him there. From what I can see, maybe the hole and pieces that Matsuri was left in after Boruto swiftly dealt with her, maybe those pieces are a little too small for Jura to be able to make an appearance there, because we do know that all the Senjus, as part of their design, as part of their clothing design, they do have claw marks, and we have seen Bug in the past be able to go through Jura's claw marks to make an appearance right where he was at. So Jura not making it near Matsuri does mean that probably Matsuri was cut into pieces that were too small for him to get through, or that this is part of Jura's plan. So let me know what you guys think at first when you guys see that. Do you think Jura intentionally went there? And if he did, what is his goal? Whether this is intentional or not, there are still multiple different paths that the story could take. Let's say he only went there because he needed to get close, because he needed a clawgram to get close enough to the battlefield where he could just simply fly and deal with Boruto. That is an option and would technically be the easiest way for him to get to Boruto, which would then mean that from then on, the fight would just be between Boruto and Jura and maybe Konohamaru, who's around there. But if that is not the case, if he's going to be there for a bit of time, we could see a very hurtful plan, and a plan that will ultimately come to backfire for Boruto, and why Boruto is going to be trapped. And that is for Jura to take a hostage. One thing that a lot of people have mentioned is that Boruto can literally just come into the fight, and every time Jura seems like he's going to come, Boruto can simply teleport and then the problem will be over with. That is the interpretation that a lot of people have. However, it is not that simple, and there's basically been foreshadowing about how exactly Boruto is going to be prevented from using the Fly Raijin. And that is, by him making this appearance now, it means that Boruto has some love towards either Konohamaru or all of the people who are there, which is why he ended up making an appearance. So this does tell Jura that he holds some level of leverage on Boruto by knowing exactly who Boruto cares about and can cause him to act irrationally. And by Jura finding out that information, by Jura finding out that Boruto cares for the least shinobi, he is able to use that against Boruto, as if Boruto ends up teleporting, he will simply just try and harm one of Boruto's loved ones to draw Boruto out. And the reason this has been possible and has been foreshadowed for quite some time is due to the recent understanding that Jura has gained through the fight between Himawari, Team 10, and him. In that fight, he ended up understanding this concept of love and how it can cause people to act irrationally, which he deduced and explained a couple chapters ago. And with this new understanding, he will use humans' biggest weakness, which he claims is also going to be a weakness of Boruto. Because of the love, he's going to use love as the weakness of humans to end up making it easier for him to take care of Boruto. And that's going to be very interesting to see take place, because not only does Jura now coming into the battlefield, especially in the battlefield where Mitiki, Sarada, Ayara, and Yado are at, it means that it might foil some of Sarada's work, because they had not connected the Soul Thorn before Jura came about. Because when we check the last fight, not only do you see that there are clawgrams along the region where the Thorn Soul is falling, but those are the same clawgrams that have allowed Jura to make an appearance. So if the clawgrams don't get the Thorn Soul, Jura would be able to get it himself. himself. And we do know that Sarada possesses abilities that may allow her to defend it using her gravitational powers and acquiring the Soul Thorn, a little bit like Jura did, but she is knocked unconscious due to the amount of chakra that she has been using these past 2 chapters. So Boruto really could have ruined all of Kashin Koji's plan, and exactly the plan and vision that he had. And if we do see things go bad, this may really end up being the moment where Boruto either gets captured or Boruto is captured himself. There are multiple different instances in which this could happen. Either we do have a Boruto who ends up deciding not to leave at some point during this fight because either Sarada is held hostage or Mitiki. I would really like it to be Mitiki so that we see a little bit something different from Mitiki, as Sarada has been a focus of these past 2 chapters and we did see her go crazy. One of the only characters that it does make sense for him maybe to have something happen to him would be Mitiki. So if Mitiki is put in a situation where Boruto has to pick either Mitiki's life or his, Boruto, due to the love that he possesses for Mitiki, he will most likely give up his, which is the way that Jura ends up using the human weakness against himself, and that is that weakness of love. And where we would have Boruto, because of his love for Mitiki, end up being taken hostage by the Senju, or maybe potentially killed on spot. That is a path that the story could end up taking. Or one that is a little simpler is for Jura to take a hostage of his own. I don't know exactly who that be, because if it is Sarada, Hidari will try and devour her immediately. But if it is Mitsuki, we could see something completely different happen. And a lot of it could potentially be warning us about a potential character arc for Mitiki that a lot of people have been waiting for, and he is the first person to react to the fact that Jura is there. So it's definitely a possibility that Mitiki plays some sort of role as either a hostage or somebody that is used to let Boruto to make Boruto drop his guard and no longer fight 100% serious versus Jura, due to the fact that Mitiki is being taken hostage, or Boruto deems it better for him to give up his life instead of Mitiki's. But all in all, what this does tell us is that the fight between Boruto and Jura is confirmed to be happening next chapter, or at least the building stages of Boruto versus Jura, because now that a lot of people do realize that if Jura takes somebody hostage, Boruto cannot leave. So the saying that a lot of people have of Boruto using the Flying Raijin will not work, and now it's going to be quite serious to see what is going to happen. When Kashin Koji says that Boruto has ruined all of their plans, it probably means that Boruto has ruined basically all the work that Sarada has done, because Ryu's torn soul ends up being retrieved again by Jura. Where if Boruto did end up listening to Kashin Koji and his words, we would only have Konohamaru, who ends up getting devoured, and we would have the Soul Thorn of Ryu. However, due to the fact that Boruto did not listen to Kashin Koji at all, we have the scenario of Konohamaru still getting devoured by Matsuri, whether it is just a piece of Matsuri or Matsuri ends up being healed and they take Konohamaru alongside, with them. It would make sense for them to take Konohamaru maybe instead of a Mitiki, due to the fact that it is one of Matsuri's targets, so after Matsuri is healed and comes back, she may need to devour Konohamaru. But the main reason Boruto even joined the fight in the first place would be because of Konohamaru and the danger that he saw Konohamaru was in. So due to the fact that Jura could then have absorbed who Boruto cared for. Boruto didn't join in from Sarada, Boruto joined in for Konohamaru, so maybe, okay, Konohamaru is that guy that Boruto has love for. Just like for Team 10, Himawari was the person that they had love for, to the extent where they would act illogically. So instead of picking Mitsuki, who Jura has not seen them have much of a connection with each other, then he would deduce that Konohamaru is the person that they really care for. And alongside the fact that he's Matsuri's target, and Matsuri still needs to be healed, they will bring him back to his base, and then after Matsuri comes back, Konohamaru will promptly be devoured. And because in the future that Kashin Koji wanted us to go down, it does seem like Konohamaru was meant to be devoured. and Ryu was meant to be the only person who he ended up getting the Soul Throne with. So with Boruto not going down that path, he may have just made it worse by making it where they don't take any W's with the Senju and they end up losing Konohamaru to a Matsuri who ends up devouring them, with Ryu who is then reconstructed, as Jura did end up taking his torn soul at the very end when he did end up making an appearance. So those are the different paths in which I can see the story going down. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and concerns in the comment section below. It's been your boy Dynasty, and I'm out, bruh.